Hey guys, Dezz Asante here from the Techmuze Academy, back with another episode of the Techmuze podcast. This one is going to be a short and sweet episode. Basically, I just want to address a question that I get from time to time, and it normally goes something like this. Dezz, it's 2018. As an artist, as a band, as a musician, do I still really need my own website? Because I got a lot of social media followers. I do most of my engagement over there. Do I need a website still? Is it worth it? Is it necessary? And I'd like to give you my thoughts on that. First of all, the short and sweet answer is absolutely yes. I do believe it's necessary. Is a website better than your social media accounts that you frequent? Is it better than your Facebook following, Instagram following, LinkedIn if you're into that sort of thing? Is it better than those things? Well, not necessarily. I mean, that's like asking, is a screwdriver better than a hammer, or is a fork better than a knife? I mean, it's a moot question. You know what I mean? Because, well, yeah, a screwdriver is better for some things than a hammer is, but a hammer is better for other things, right? They're two different things. It's not the same thing. So one of the reasons why I still strongly believe that a band or an artist or a musician needs their own website is because it's important, in my opinion, to have some property online that's accessible worldwide that you own and control. Okay, that's not subject to the policies and terms and conditions of these other platforms, these third-party platforms, okay? It's important that you have this place because it's happened in the past where, an artist has built up their entire social media following on, say Facebook, or back in the day on MySpace or whatever, and then a policy change caused them to get their account shut down. And now, if that happens, your entire connection to your audience, to your fan base, is severed. And you no longer have the opportunity to reach out and nurture and develop your relationships with your audience, with your fans, okay? So it's important that you have a property that you own, okay? The other thing I think is important about a website is that it gives you the opportunity to actually have an email opt-in and collect contact information from people. Your email list is still very important, still very valid today, even in 2018 when I'm posting this video, okay? And also, again, for much the same reason as I stressed about the website, it's an asset that you own. If you have 10,000 followers on Facebook, that's fantastic, and like I say, go for that, do that, try to expand your reach as much as possible. But you don't own that, and at any point in time, that can be taken away from you. Okay, for a number of different reasons. Your email list is an asset that you own. If the entire all the social media platforms just blew up altogether and ceased to exist, you could still connect and maintain your relationship with your audience and your fans via email. So that's important. And your website allows you to capture people's email addresses. Another thing that's advantageous about having a website is that because it's yours, because it's custom designable, and you can add in whatever features and functions you want, you can also use it as a storefront. You can allow your fans the opportunity to show their support by purchasing merchandise from you, by buying your music, and any other ways in which you can generate some revenue through product or service sales on your website. You can do that very, very easily, especially if you use my preferred platform, which is WordPress. In fact, in the description below this video, I will link to a tutorial video that I published a while ago on exactly how to build a website from scratch using WordPress. If you're interested in putting a website together and you're not sure that you have the skills, watch that video and you'll be fairly confident by the time you've watched it that you can go ahead and build your own website and do some of these things that I'm talking about, okay? Another thing that's important about a website is it gives a central location that you can archive all of your blog content. And some artists don't do this, but I highly recommend that you start a blog. And it's not just, I don't necessarily mean just a place to talk about your music or your art, although that can be included in the content that you publish there, but it gives you an opportunity to tell your story over the course of time. And I like to use the phrase, open the kimono and let people into your world, because I found in my experience, and others will testify to this, that your music or your art is the eye catcher. It's the attention grabber. You publish a video, it catches people's attention, go, okay, that's cool. And then they want to know, who are these people? Who is this artist? Who is this singer, right? And your blog is an opportunity, a perfect opportunity for you to begin to tell that story over time. Talk about your thoughts, show some behind the scenes footage in the studio or on the road, let people know who you are, because you'll find that, like I said, the music itself is the attention grabber, but the content and the story, and I'll talk more about this in a future episode, is what turns somebody into a fan, into a super fan, okay? It's once they get to know who you are, now it's like, yeah, okay, I like the music, but now I love this artist, you know? And now at that point, they're invested in you, not just in that song that they heard or that piece of art that they saw or what have you, okay? So another thing before we wrap it up is your website also becomes a central hub for your social media presence. If you have a great following on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or wherever you spend your time, you know, engaging with your audience, then your website becomes a really simple place that you can send people where they can find links to all of your social media channels and they can choose to follow you wherever it is that they like to hang out, okay? It's important that you meet people where they're at. And your website is a good thing to put on a business card or to just, you can speak it, something that's easy. You know, I'm Dezz Asante, it could be dezzasante.com. That's real easy to tell somebody or to send in a message or to put on a business card. And from there, they can go ahead and explore my entire brand and choose to follow me on social media wherever they like to hang out, okay? So that becomes that central hub and the spokes lead out to all the other places that you spend time engaging with people. And last but not least, your website also becomes a showcase for your videos, your live performances, and that's not just for potential fans, but that's also for potential business partners, potential venue owners that might be considering hiring you to play. And in order to justify the price that you're asking, they want to go online and they want to see what does this person sound like? What kind of show do they put on? Is this something that I think is going to add value to my establishment? And your website becomes a very convenient way to showcase exactly what you do, okay? So it might be nice to even have a dedicated page on the website specifically for that purpose, okay? So hopefully this makes sense to you. Hopefully you see the value that I see in having my own property on the internet that I own. And just before we wrap it up, let me take you through a quick walkthrough of a website for a project that I was involved in for quite some time. It's dezzandcarol.com if you look at the screen here. Unfortunately, we're not playing together anymore. Hopefully, we'll get back to it at some point in the future. But this is an example of most of the things that I've just talked about. Right here on the homepage, right smack dab in the middle, is a play button. People can see and hear what we sound like, a little bit of what we serve to our audience without having to look around for it. It's right there, and we can use that real estate on the screen to feature whatever our latest, greatest content is, in particular video. Okay, up at the top, a little news ticker where we can, put a link to our latest blog post or something, call to action that we want people to do. We did a lot of live streaming on Periscope, so we featured that right here front and center on the top of the page of the sidebar here, where people could tune into us live. In fact, that button would actually go red when we were live. So if you came to the website, it was red, it would say we're live. You can just click it and join right into the live stream. Here's links to the social media channels that we used fairly frequently. Right here is our call to action, and that's how we built our email list. We gave away some free music in return for an email where we were able to then reach out and continue to nurture the relationship that we were developing with any fans who happened to stumble upon us. Now, we went a step further, and we also created a podcast called The Fearless Creative, where we sat and just talked, had a glass of wine, and talked about being a creative person, a creative entrepreneur, and what that's all about. I believe those episodes are still live in iTunes and Stitcher and Google Play Music, so feel free to check that out if you'd like to. Down here, we had links to our upcoming shows. Now, because we're not playing together, there are no shows. And then we had some spotlights from the latest blog posts. And if you look at the navigation bar on the About page, we, just a little quick and easy who we are, a little bit of who I am, a little bit of who Carol is, so that people could get a vibe as to, who they're listening to. Obviously, that call to action again to join our email list, which was very important to us. Here's the full blog over here where you could browse through and whatever topics, you found interesting. And again, we weren't just talking about our music. Carol did most of the blogging here. I'll give her the full credit for that. But, it was about who we are. It's like what happens in our relationship as musicians and as people, because we were a couple, of course, at the time as well. So that was an important place for people to know more about us. A dedicated spot for video. This was basically imported directly from our YouTube channel, which was very convenient. And then we had our store where people could go ahead and purchase and show their support that way. And last but not least, a place for people to reach out and say hello, or for venue owners to reach out and book us if they were interested in having us play. So that's the basics in a nutshell of what I consider to be a functional artist website. And I do believe that it's important to have one even in 2018 and beyond. If that changes, I'll jump back on YouTube here and I'll let you know that it has changed and what has changed about it. But for now, having your own property online and your own email list, assets, they are assets to your business that you own and control, I believe is still very relevant and very important. So if you got questions, oh, by the way, I'll leave that link to how to build your own website using WordPress to that video in the description. So if you found some merit to my points here and you want to get on on board and get a website up for yourself, go ahead and check out that video and get your website started. And again, we'll talk soon. I look forward to it. All right, take care. Keep making music. We'll see you again soon.